All right, I'm back with another review. This one was sent in from Will Smith. It's a body mechanics shot. Basically, the guy runs up to another guy and gives him a slap. I think it's really well done, so let's take a look.
Oh, wow!
Awesome. Really funny audio. I think that one's from Madagascar. It's really, really funny. So I'm just checking the versions here. Looks like maybe this isn't.
Oh my God! There you
Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, this is an older version. We looked at this before. Let's just go back to... Okay, so let's have a look at this shot. So, staging-wise, I think it's really nice. This guy is definitely much more imposing than this guy here. It's great framing. Really brings us along with him. Tracks the guy who's walking really well. And then we get center frame. It's a lovely handheld camera as well. Super nice, feels really realistic. I think the walk is great as well. Definitely been looking at Richard Williams, I can see. I really like what his pose is. It's absolutely great. You've got this kind of pose up here, but then the weight is nicely over that leg with this one out here. Super nice. And those arms behind the body just lets you counter that weight, so you really get that beautiful line of action that you've got going on there. Really nice. And then just continuing to look at him. He does anti it slightly, but I think that is because we have the antic of the slap. So I guess he would slightly predict it. If I'm being critical, you could probably just keep him in this pose that you've got here, this lovely pose, until the contact. He doesn't need to do this little move here. It's taking away from the impact. So just hold him there. Oh, this is a great pose here. Really got that line of action. Super nice. You can really feel the twist in him. He's twisted around this way. His face is very profile as well. It just couldn't be clearer. Really beautiful. And that also contrasts really nicely with this guy's strong line of action. Oh, we've really got this one going this way and one going that way. Super nice. And we hold that for a little bit as well, just to really sell that beat of him getting slapped. They both kind of hold for a moment. Super nice. So now let's look at the Will character here. It's so imposing that he really doesn't break stride at all. He just continues to walk while this guy just stands there. And as we come out of the walk, we have a really cool antic here. See, get a little flash of the hand. The antic really starts here. So we start to twist that body. We get an ever so slight amount of twist in this upper chest region here to just antic that movement. This hand then comes out, but the chest is already well on its way. So it's a very, very quick motion. You just get a couple of frames of that chest as we come out of the walk, anticing, and the chest immediately starts to lead. And the chest is, I'd say, a good 70% of its weight there by this point. This guy still doesn't know what's going on. Look at his happy face. Little does he know. So first of all, we have a beautiful hold here. We almost like snap back with that hand as well. It's really nice. And this arm starts to drive back this way. Come through here, and then we have we don't see that hand at all in this frame, so it's probably behind here somewhere. And then we suddenly have boom, big slap to the face, absolutely huge. Will Smith gets some air, his feet coming off the ground. This one's moving as well. He literally gets air. Look at that. Boom. Super nice because you get that kind of compression in the arm where this upper arm is going back. And we have this absolutely beautiful pose where this hand is straight out. We've even got a bit of flare on the fingers here. This is up here. Just crazy good contrast. I'm really impressed with how you've done this, Will. And everything is just so nicely balanced, you know? You can tell that this guy, he knows what he's doing. I mean, just look at this pose here. We've got really a perfect contrast. Look at that line of action. It's absolutely amazing. Ooh. Crazy. He almost feels weightless here where his foot is moving. That's such an interesting little move he does. He's moving his foot. Yeah, so he's basically like replanting his foot backwards there, which is generating a lot of force forwards in that slap. I mean, if this was real life, this would probably really hurt. Ooh, doing some spin. It's interesting how as his head starts to go over this way, we get just a little bit of counter here in the hips, just to counter that weight. So he never goes fully off balance, and you can see as he moves through this, and his pose goes from this to this, His hips go over there from there. It's so cool how quickly that hand stiffens up as well. So you can feel it really stiff here. And he really holds this pose and gets into this. It's just a settle from here to here. We have slight overlap just in the tips of the fingers, but it's mostly a held pose with that hand, which really gives you power. Now what it seems like he's doing is, as he jumps back, his head really goes back to really counter that slap, which is super nice. It really puts a lot of impact into that slap. And then what's really cool is that this hand, what that hand does is that comes out, that kind of starts to take his weight over here. His hips start to move over and go more onto this foot. And I'm sure what we'll see in the next couple of frames is that this foot taking weight, foot takes weight, and we're transferred onto this in balance. He never really loses balance. He's got a lot of control in this slap. And then we come into this walk cycle again. I mean, he really doesn't even, barely takes a moment to react, you know? Does the big slap, then gets out of there. So with that arm leading out, getting his balance over there. As his balance comes back over, this hand comes over here. It's a little stuck in these frames, but it's kind of beautiful. Maybe you've got it in IK on these two frames. Really doesn't move that much. Take a look in there. It's super interesting that he really peels off with his heel and lands on that heel when he's already got his weight on this back foot. The weight's over this, which means he can then just peel off there. This can just raise up instead of having to peel off of his toe, which is cool. And then it's like we get a little acceleration through here, which is really cool, of this foot. So it accelerates, and then we kind of get a hold here, almost like, oh, we're quickly regaining balance, and then we're comfortably putting our foot down, which is very cool. And I really like this acting choice you've done where adjusts his waistcoat. Really gives him that nonchalant feeling while the other guy's flailing around. I mean, look at the contrast. This guy, it's an everyday thing for him, and the other guy, whoa, out of nowhere. What's kind of interesting is at the start, Chris does this kind of antic with his foot, which comes up here, which is really cool. And then we do a pretty fast stomp, and that foot is fully in position, which brings us into this kind of challenging pose, you know? He's moving forward as Will is moving forward. It's really interesting. It's kind of like, you go on, you're not going to do anything. But he does. Anyway, thanks a lot, Will, for sending this in. It's really, really there. I'd maybe take a look at that IK hand note. But it's looking great. It's super believable. I really love it. It's come on a long way from the original version. If you like this, then share it with a friend, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and see you in the next video. Bye.